Hey everybody, it's Chow. So I totally forgot that I said during the playthrough that I would include episode 4's journal entries at the end of the playthrough. What happened at the end of this episode kind of like really distraught me, I guess is the word. Not exactly the word, but is a word that could describe how I was feeling. And I completely forgot about the journals and still forgot about it during the editing. So here it is now. And I figured I might as well share my thoughts about what happened and about the game in general, because that's usually what I do during the credit roll. But again, I was a little saddened by what happened to Max and Chloe. Oh, speaking of that, seems like a lot of people thought that I threw my controller. I didn't. It just slipped out of my hands because they're really sweaty and clammy. My hands always get really sweaty and clammy when I get stressed out or nervous. Yeah, it's really inconvenient. Yeah, so the controller just slipped out of my fingers, fell to the floor, about maybe a foot. I have wood floor, so that's why the sound was just so loud. But anyway, Life is Strange has become one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. It's one of the best games I've ever had the pleasure of even experiencing, and it is quite the experience. It's incredible how well Don't Nod has created like this story and these characters that feel extremely real. There's a lot of things about this game that are really whimsical and kind of like out there, but as far as the settings, the story, the environments, the characters, I feel like they're pretty accurate portrayals. Like, I feel like I know some of these people in real life. I have people in my life that remind me of Chloe and remind me of Max and Victoria. That's probably why I psychoanalyze them a little bit too much, Nathan and Frank included. Anyway, this has been an incredible mystery game, and I think at the core, Life is Strange is a mystery game, and I knew it. Episode 4 is the turning point where things start getting answered. One of the biggest mysteries of this game is what happened to Rachel Amber, and we all know now what happened to Rachel Amber. I also said this before, that episode 4 is when we as players and Max's character, we're all going to start seeing the consequences of our actions. And by that I mean like players will now actually feel how they failed to save Kate, which happened, and Max is starting to feel the consequences of her actions. Like Jefferson is now acting in response to all her snooping. Like, the snooping is out of our control because the game is a mystery game where we primarily investigate what the hell is going on in Arcadia Bay, and so we're dealing with the repercussions of all the snooping. And one reason why I think this has been an incredible mystery game is because of the impressive misdirections that Donut has presented the players. Two of the biggest misdirections in this entire game are Max and Nathan as characters. These two characters, I think, are the most important. Of course, Max is the most important character. She's the protagonist. But Nathan Prescott, I would argue, is the second most important character to the actual game itself, the story itself, because I think it's a mystery. And the reason for that is that these characters, through Max's perception, has pretty much thrown everybody for a loop. Like, you gotta realize that episode 1, we as players are put into the body of a teenage girl, right? So we hear her thoughts. What hearing her thoughts does to us as players is give us a bias, right? She had negative opinions about Nathan Prescott from the get-go, so we as players have negative opinions about Nathan Prescott. Max as a character jumps to assumptions all the time when it comes to Nathan Prescott. Remember Nathan's reaction inside the diner in episode 3 when Max was throwing accusations at him? He said, "You are so stupid, Max." To me, that was kind of the game's way of hinting at the possibility that there's a lot more to what's going on than what Max sees. Plus, Max was always really quick to jump on Kate's side when in actuality, Max herself has never really seen the video or really knows what's going on. She just sides with Kate because she's a sympathetic character. And this is why I think Life is Strange is really good. They really do a good job with misdirections. I mean, just look at what happened with Jefferson.